Good morning, birdies. Here it is. It's 8:01 a.m. on October 1st, 2009. And it's fall. It's October already, folks. We're getting to the end of the last holiday season of not just the year, but of the decade. I'm actually surprised that people are making more of an issue of it being the end of a decade. I've kind of already made my peace with that. But more importantly, with it being October, actually no. Before I actually get into that, I have to switch up the format because usually I do these my little good morning birdies, as many of you have watch every day or every once in a while, and I'm always surprised to find out how many of you actually do. I always give a birthday shout out at the very end. And a lot of times, especially if I run long, there are people who I tag who are kind of curious that did he tag me, and then they watch, and I don't talk about them for like 8 minutes, and a few people have been like, why did you tag me? And I'm like, oh, I gave you a birthday shout out. Oh, I'm sorry, I was running late for work and I didn't watch the whole thing, and you were talking about something else besides me or my birthday. So I want to do the birthday shout outs at the beginning now, so that people, especially if it's their birthday, I don't want to waste their time. Birthday shout outs. Happy birthday to Wit, that's cute. Dorian's regular, and speaking of Dorian's regulars, I have a crew of my boys. I have an early crew, I guess, from the 80s, and then my 90s crew. You have a formidable youth, not formidable, you know what I'm saying? It's just like the formative years of your youth, and then you have the formative years of, although they were formidable, of your young adulthood, where you're still, you're an adult and you're legal to do everything, but you're still figuring out who you are recreationally, socially, vocationally. And there's a core group of my boys my true brothers. I don't have a real brother. Unfortunate for my parents, who I am their only son, and their only son is 43 years old, and pretty much perpetually broke, and they worked 2 jobs and gave up a lot of their lives to make sure that their only son, would graduate college and provide them with grandkids, and I've done neither at 43. But this is not about me. And we're back. We're talking about, happiness. We're talking about my boys, my brothers, band of brothers. And Walter, Artie, Jay Lust, Stephen Ehrlich, Chuck Kinder, Dieter, Dave Brooks, Tom Bronstein, and our birthday boy, Rob Floyd. Happy birthday to you. Rob actually has the interesting distinction also of, I have been responsible for 5 couples being together, and they're all still together. Jeanette and Larry. Actually, no, they're not all still together. Sorry. Kelly and Bobby are not, but they're happy. They're all happy. So, point being that Rob married a friend of mine, but it wasn't even through me. He's married to a beautiful, great girl named Amelia, who I knew from the 80s, and then like 10 years later in the 90s, he shows up on a date with it. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm meeting this girl here for a date, and it happened to be her, and now they're married and they have beautiful kids. So happy birthday to Rob, and hopefully the family takes care of you today. And actually, which is kind of cool, I talked about couples because it is October. And what many of you might not know is that there are 2 mating seasons for the human animal, especially in big cities. There's the spring, of course, where it's kind of like it's always preemptive, because when it hits spring, you kind of just like, oh, I got warm weather, I'm going to go out and do things, and I want to have that person to go out and do things with. And now that it's October, and it's cool, it's 60 degrees, actually chilly, but about to get cold, where you're not going to spend as much time outside, you're going to want someone to go home and wrap yourself in and get warm with, and it's not only that, but then it's all like it's holiday season, and we're going to be stuffing our faces, and you're going to feel a little, you're going to gain a little weight, and you're going to feel not as competitive out there, I guess, with all your layers of clothes on. And so you want to have that warm body at home, and this is like people are love hunting this time of year. and I think that I find it actually fascinating. And this season, like, you know, they start looking October, September, and you know, they I'm sorry, I was just realizing that 5 minutes went very quickly already. And they want something kind of serious. I think that there's been a trend to get back to serious relationships, because enough of this, like, you know, friends with benefits thing, which is a 90s thing. I should actually put that in my audience list, but that is not by any, you know, friends with benefits have been around since the 80s, but back in the 80s, you know, we didn't have to label anything. 80s was great because you didn't really have to label anything at all. You know, it was because you never had to defend yourself. You know, the people who were doing crazy and, you know, stuff and partying too much, they could actually hang out with people who didn't party at all, because the people who didn't party at all, it didn't judge. Now people kind of do, a lot more of it is hidden, because people are always worried about what other people think, and you always want to assume that people do the same things that you do, and you always want to assume that people give a crap about who you're dating, and back then you didn't. But I think there should be a new term for, because they, you know, ideally this is the perfect season to have. A lot of people are very beholden to their life. They don't want to give that up. So everyone needs like like not like a boyfriend or friends with benefits, but something in between where you could. It's like the person that, it's like a recreational boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other. You know, someone like I like to go out to movies with and dinners with, and then, you know, have at home to have sex with or whatever, but we still have like if I don't talk to them for 4 days, I'm not obligated to call them and text them 4 times a day and tell them I love them, I'm thinking of you, whatever. Like, I can go back to my life, but then, you know, then we'll schedule something next week and we can get together and have a great time. At least like an intermediary step to eventually dating. At least up until, you know, Valentine's Day, where all of a sudden it's all about labels and you're forced to react or to admit or to confess or to defend what your relationship is. Labels kind of suck. So happy love hunting to the rest of you. Keep your options open. Don't set, you know, don't. The tricky part about love hunting is figuring out where to set the bar. If you set it too high, you're gonna, you know, set yourself for a lot of disappointment. If you set it too low, you're gonna find yourself compromising and eventually miserable and looking to break up with someone right around Valentine's Day, which happens a lot. A lot of people break up like on Valentine's Day or like right after Valentine's Day. It's like, oh no, this is not the person that I want to spend a significant amount of time with. So I took one of those quizzes on Facebook, and only, I think, 47% of my friends are taken. So that means over 50% of you are single. So it's fall. Happy love hunting to that 53% or whatever. Good luck to you. I love you all. Ciao for now.